Life as You Own It with Mark McDougald and Craig Miller.
Remember, you got questions, we've got answers. You may not take the time to educate yourself about the single largest investment and opportunity you have, that investment in the roof over your head in real estate.
We talk about your home, financing, making investments in real estate. We give you the facts, folks.
You know, it's just good old-fashioned horse sense that we like to talk about. And we also throw in some other horse stuff, too, just for fun.
All right, it is Life as You Own It. I'm Mark McDougald. He is
Craig Miller. You're supposed to announce me. I feel more famous.
He's Craig Miller. I am Mark McDougald, and this is another installment of Life as You Own It. Thanks for hanging out with us on your weekend. We are now almost 40 stations strong. You can also catch us. You can podcast the show. You can go to iHeartRadio, and what's our other venue you can catch?
TuneIn Radio.
TuneIn Radio, also, folks. iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. Podcast the show, and check out our website, lifeasyouownit.com, because we're all about everything that falls under the roof over your head. Best financial prices, how to get the best deal on your house, how to make sure it's covered and protected, that and so much more. And today it's a special show for us, isn't it, Craig? Why? What's this weekend?
It's Mother's Day.
That's right.
Mama.
All right.
That's a lot of.
I want to, as the music continue to play, but I want to just give all my love to all the moms out there that make it possible for the sons and daughters to go about and ideally, have a special life, the gift of life that you gave us.
All of you great mothers, great job. All of you other mothers, straighten up.
Yeah, straighten up and fly right. So happy Mother's Day to all of you. Special, I'm going to give a special all my love out to my mom, Marilyn McDougald, and also my wife, the mother of our children, Felicia McDougald. So very best to them. So that means we've got a high bar for today's show. All the moms listening are expecting the very best out of us. Okay, so about regrets. I've got a few. How about you, Craig? You got a few regrets?
I got a couple pockets full.
As they say, hindsight is 20/20, or in your case, it's what, 2015?
2010, perhaps.
2010, and mine's 5/5. Kind of like you. When it comes to your biggest purchase, we'll share some of the most common regrets homebuyers have the morning after, or maybe the days and months after. Also, so we all know we prefer the new car smell. Do you like the new car smell, Craig?
Depends on the brand of automobile.
Yeah.
There's a few that are special.
Really?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What brands smell better than others?
BMW smell amazing.
Really?
Any German make has a better new car smell than
It
any
does?
other. Oh yeah, they use higher quality materials. It smells fantastic.
What are the materials, other than leather, what are the materials that, the leather and the carpet?
Adhesives that they use in like you said, the carpet.
You like
leather.
the smell of the adhesives?
Well, it's just that they use a higher quality material. It all creates this amazing aroma that is hard to beat. In fact, go get in a Porsche that's even 8 or 9 years old, not your 42-year-old or whatever that is, and they all still smell amazing inside, unless somebody's been letting their German Shepherd sleep in it. I don't know.
Thought you were going another direction.
I was trying to think of
All right,
so
we know we like the new car smell, but what about the new home smell?
that's a good smell too, man.
The numbers are in.
Materials,
The numbers are in. Find out if more of you like new and shiny or broken in and full of character.
I'll take the new and shiny.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Nice and shiny.
Yeah, all right, so you're ready to sell, and obviously, we all want to sell for top dollar. But what if you overprice your home? It could end up costing you way more than you ever hoped to gain. So stay tuned for that segment. And if you live in one of these states and you're thinking it's time to move, you're probably not alone. No, we've got the results from a recent survey, and you'd be surprised at how many want to leave their state of despair. Sometimes I just impress myself with the material I write.
I'm glad you do.
I hurt my shoulder patting myself on the back. Okay, and also, folks, this week, it's a special week, isn't it? It's Teacher Appreciation Week. My parents, both educators, my brother, my sister, both teachers, and so I've got a lot of it really close to my heart, and I also was impacted by some fantastic teachers. So here's to you, and we've got a clip we're going to play. It's a portion of a TED Talk, correct? That we think is
compliments. I'm going to give a awesome teacher credit for sending this to me. Carrie Draper sent me this. She's a reading specialist in Lee Summit. Does an awesome job. She's very passionate about the work that she does. and her students have been greatly impacted for a long time. I think 16 years or so. So anyway, let's hear it.
Some people think that you can either have it in you to build a relationship or you don't. I think Stephen Covey had the right idea. He said you ought to just throw in a few simple things, like seeking first to understand as opposed to being understood. Simple things like apologize. Tell a kid you're sorry, they're in shock. I taught a lesson once on ratios. I'm not real good with math, but I was working on it. And I got back and looked at that teacher edition. I taught the whole lesson wrong. So I came back to class the next day and I said, look, guys, I need to apologize. I taught the whole lesson wrong. I'm so sorry. They said, that's okay, Miss Pearson. You were so excited. We just let you go.
That's Rita Pearson. So she's obviously an experienced educator, passionate about what she does. The whole, we put a link to that on our website so you can listen to the whole thing. It's only about 4 minutes.
Craig, we talked about that, folks. If you've not checked out a TED Talk, fantastic information. We'd encourage all of you to do it. A myriad of subjects, everything from technology, current events, everything, and an educator.
Yeah.
So that's a little clip, got you a little taste of it, but we'll put a link at lifeasyouownit.com. And hey, folks, if you got questions, you got comments, you got concerns, we're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call us 877-300-1536. That's 877-300-1536. Give us a call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're standing by. We want your feedback, we want your questions. We want to help you out, folks. All right? This music means it is time for Should You Stay or Should You Go? Bobby in Lawrence, Kansas emailed, I own my home free and clear. I have a financial situation that has arisen and need to get my hands on about $100,000. I don't want to take out a mortgage, but I don't know any other way to get the money. Am I better off with a line of credit or second mortgage, or would it be best for me to get a regular first mortgage? Thanks for the great show. Thanks, Bobby, for the question. Craig, should he stay or should he go?
I think it's a she. I'm just guessing by spelling, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
And
Is that Tracy? Can Tracy with a Y?
She's probably a mother who's trying to bail one of her kids out of jail or something. Just kidding, Bobby. I don't know what you do with the $100,000, but hopefully it works out for you. So, mothers are always out there trying to help.
$100,000, yes. That's a lot of money.
First of all, it's going to be go, obviously, meaning get the mortgage. But the question to answer it specifically, second mortgage or a line of credit or doing a first mortgage, at a $100,000 amount, I'm going to tell you that you're going to want to go ahead and get a primary mortgage. There's no such thing as a second mortgage if you don't already have a first mortgage. So any mortgage you take out will theoretically be your first mortgage lien. However, by taking a line of credit, although it may allow some flexibility in the repayment or even drawing out more money if you need it, it's an option to check into, it's going to have an adjustable rate. If you're looking at the most financially stable way to repay this loan that you were unexpectedly, sounds like planning on borrowing the money, you weren't planning on borrowing this money, I would suggest a fixed rate long-term first mortgage. Look at your budget, talk to a certified mortgage planner, make sure they understand the whole situation you're dealing with and then what your future plans are financially, and set up a mortgage plan. Don't just go out and get some loan as a quick solution to needing that money.
All right. Good one. So that's should you stay or should you go? Remember, folks, if you've got a scenario, you've got a question you're burning to get some great advice on it, email it to us, questions@lifeasyouownit.com. And it may be selected for our Should You Stay or Should You Go segment, but in either case, you will get a response from us.
Speaking of burning,
yes.
Are you still burning? Did you make it to the doctor? Sorry, I had to come back with something because you did the 5-5 thing on me.
Burning.
Like you said burning, like you're burning for answers. Okay, Mark, you still got that burning problem? Did you get to the doctor?
Okay, I didn't. Which burning problem?
You said. You know which one I'm talking about. I don't know. It's just, you said burning.
Okay.
You said burning when you were just talking.
Yeah,
you just said
burning.
It.
I did.
Damn it. Go back.
Burning the code word.
All right, hang on.
Okay, we can
It sense to us. He missed it. Come on, burning.
I liked your laugh though.
I like it too. Listen, he said burning.
I believe I said burning.
I know. Speaking of burning, that's what I said. Are you still burning? Rosa, are you an employee of Guaranteed Rate?
I am.
Dang it, I can't see what I was going to say.
Are you? Yeah,
Yeah.
you are. Oh.
Watch out.
I'm not. So you guys need to shut the hell up.
Exactly. So it's going around or another. You don't even work for me. I don't even work with you.
Ron's on guaranteed
All right,
rate
either
already,
case, you'll get a
right?
response from us. And you're going to have you saying it, and you're going to have basically a minute 15.
I'm sorry, I'll stop messing.
You get a
this
response
up.
from us. All right, ready, go.
All right, Craig. You know what? Just this last week I had the occasion to drive down to Augusta, Kansas. So shout out to my friends at Augusta Middle School. Special thanks to my good longtime friend, Principal Steve Lilly at Augusta Middle School, who invited me to come down for Reality U, and I spoke to over 150 eighth grade students, some very bright kids, some great conversation, and hopefully that my time spent with them was as impactful to them as it was to me. Also want to give a shout out to KQAM 1480 Wichita. All right, when we come back, Craig is going to share with you where interest rates are today and
The
where
lowdown.
they are headed. He's giving you the lowdown.
On the down low.
And on the down low.
No doubt.
Also, we know you've got regrets. You've done something you've regretted. Well, we're going to talk about that biggest purchase you've maybe made your first home, your second home. We're going to share some common regrets that our listeners have. And you're ready to sell and you want top dollar. What if you overprice your home? That and so much more when we come back. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. Life is Doing It. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you are having a fantastic weekend. And again, Teacher Appreciation Week. Thanks for all of those teachers. It just finished, and all the love to you and all that you do, for all that you do. And Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day weekend. We love you, moms. And Craig, speaking of mothers, you're up, buddy. It's the where those interest rates are, where they're headed.
That's Daddy.
What do you think?
That's
All right,
Daddy.
Dad.
When we get to Father's Day, we can
Okay.
talk about it. All right, so rates. Let's talk about rates. National average, folks. Every week you can count on us to bring you the national average on interest rates, where they were the prior week, where they were the just past week that just passed behind us. And we're going to share with you maybe a little bit about where we think they're going. Always hard to predict exactly, although I think I can give you my opinion and it will be somewhat accurate. Looking at where we were over this past week, 30-year fixed rates based on the $200,000 national average with 20% equity and perfect credit. Keep in mind that's what these are always based on. When they take these averages, they're looking at a fairly ideal scenario, purchase or refinance with enough equity and somebody with excellent credit. Obviously, if your credit's poor, you're not putting much down on a home. Different loan programs have different general rates. Also, we always warn you, fees. There's a lot of them out there. You got to avoid the serious high fees that some lenders impose on their borrowers. So, don't pay too much in closing costs. Maybe don't pay any closing costs at all. Compare a zero cost, a true no cost mortgage where the lender absorbs the expenses. Maybe you take a slightly higher rate to get that versus one where there's a little bit lower rate but a bunch of fees. You got to do the math. How do you do that math? Well, maybe you don't know. And you can visit the website to find out. lifeasyouownit.com. Check out my break-even formula that I personally put together to make it nice and easy for you to know how to do that formula yourself and figure it out, make the right decision. All right, so 30-year fixed rates, folks, over the past week, 4.34% versus the 4.30 we saw over the last week's average prior. So, slight bump, not anything that would probably affect the rate you'd be quoted. 15-year fixed, 3.34 versus 3.36. Again, very flat on 15-year fixed rates. 5-year ARMs, 3.25, 3.25 versus 3.27. And FHA, 4.06 on a 30-year FHA, I should say. 4.06 versus 4.06, no change. Well, folks, that means rates have been pretty flat now for 2 or 3 weeks. We expect them to maintain, kind of stay in a flat pattern for another week or two. My recommendation, if you've got a short-term transaction, something that's going to take place in the next several days to several weeks, you probably want to get locked in. If you're a ways out, it's possible we might see a little bit lower rates later in the summer, early fall, depending on what your scenario is. Keep in mind, it's all going to be market dependent, depending on what the Fed does and depending on what the stock market does. We can't predict these things, but we can look at the patterns. As always, though, regardless, if your transaction makes mathematical sense and it saves you money, especially when we're talking about a refinance, jump on it, but make sure you have done that math. Not just makes sense because your payment's going down or, hey, I'm paying off some debt with my home equity. Take a hard look at what you're doing, comparison shop, and by all means, try to speak to a certified mortgage planner. You know what else you can do? You can talk to me. No matter where you're at in the United States of America, all 50 states, if you want some advice, you want someone who's going to tell you the facts, straight up, you can always call me, Craig Miller, anytime. That's
I'm going to call you Craig Miller.
Call me Craig Miller anytime.
I might
If
call you
anything
brother.
else, I may not answer to it.
Brother.
Brother, I answer to that all
Unless
right.
it's daddy.
All right,
apparently.
folks. So as we told you, there's
Unless it's daddy.
some of you have made this big purchase, and then you've woken up the next day and go, "Oh my gosh, what did I do?" Well, a recent survey by Chase, some good information about, and it strikes pretty close to home for our Life as You Own It listeners, and I know Craig and I in particular. But 9 out of 10 9 out of every 10 buyers felt prepared when they bought their home. But after the fact, well, more than half, 56%, wish they had known more about the financial process involved in buying a home. The loan closing process was at the top of the should have known more list, 22%, followed by making an offer, negotiating, 19%, and financing, 15%. Interestingly enough, these are some of the things that we cover on this very show. You know what? They are the inspiration for this very show.
And I may say, not to pick on Chase
You
too
may
much,
say.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say, interestingly enough, this is Chase's survey,
It is.
and I would be willing to bet, again, I'm not trying to defame anyone's character here, but your typical Chase loan officer that you might call is probably going to lack in the information department as far as explaining financial things to you. It's probably just going to be, hey, here's your basic, here's your rate, there you go. You need to speak to someone who cares about setting up a mortgage plan for you and really look at your whole financial picture.
Actually, in the fine print, it says they did not interview any of their clients. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
Nearly 4 in 10, and we're not going to throw just Chase under the bus because I think all of you experience this. I don't think
Yeah.
this would fall too far off
I'm not
statistically.
picking on Chase in general. I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah,
saying
yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
these national banks and
I had a
most
dog
mortgage
named
companies
Chase,
in
and,
general.
and he's
Yeah.
rolling in his grave right now. Nearly 4 in 10, 39% said that knowing what they know now, they would have bought a different size or different priced home, perhaps even in a different neighborhood. Most recent home buyers were surprised by how long the purchase process took, too. 40% said it took longer than they expected. More than 1/3 said owning a home cost more than expected. And while more than 80% of buyers consider their home move-in ready, nearly as many, 76%, now admit they've done or are planning to do renovations to their home soon. Folks, this is our show. This is what mortgage planning does. This is what speaking to a trusted advisor will help you minimize the chance that you feel the same way, because these very subjects are the things that we tell you each and every weekend you must pin down by working with the best real estate professional, and more importantly, initially, before you decide to buy, working with the best financial professional that can provide you candid, straightforward advice based upon them asking you a lot of questions about your financial situation and your goals and dreams. All right, when we come back, oh no, we're taking a little break here to do some should you stay or should you go action. It means should you stay or should you go, folks. Ron in Chicago called the toll-free line asking the following. Hi guys, I've been looking at a refinance on my condo. I have a rate of 5.25% and a balance of $215,000. I think it's worth about $275,000 to $300,000. The fees I am seeing run about $3,000 to $4,000 for the refi, and I've been quoted 4.25% to 4.5% on rate. It's a lot of information, folks. These fees seem high. Should I bother to refinance? Should he stay or should he go? Give us all the goods, Craig.
He should go, but not at what he's sharing with us that he's been quoted. He needs to cut back on those fees, take a hard look at the rate he's being quoted. You don't have to necessarily save a full point like some people think in order to make it to make sense, I should say. Stumbling around here a bit today, Mark. Both of us are. Anyway, folks, the bottom line is look at the fees and costs. If you can drop to a 4.75% rate or 4.625 or something like that without any fees or costs, boom, jump on that. It's a no-brainer. Yet, if you're going to be at 4.5% or more and a bunch of fees, it may not make sense. It's all about the math. Check out Life as You Own It, like I said earlier. Look at the break-even formula, but he should go. He can refinance and save some money.
All right, sounds good. Okay, folks, so continuing on in the vein of regrets and for home buyers. Other regrets include in a Trulia survey, more than 1/3, 34% of homeowners with regrets responding to a March 2013 poll said they wish they had chosen a larger home. Interesting, that kind of conflicts with, doesn't that conflict with Chase's?
Well,
now, actually Chase's
different size.
Yeah,
Just says different size.
good point, different size. So I guess that was larger also. Maybe right in line. Other regrets included, I wish I had done more remodeling on the home than I did, 27%. Very similar to the Chase survey. Wish I had more information about the home before I decided, 22%. Wish I'd made a larger down payment. I wish I'd been more financially secure before buying, 16%. And I wish I'd chosen a home with a shorter commute to work, 15%. So interesting regrets, folks. As you see, most of them are are kind of surround the concept of being more educated before you jump into this big purchase, especially on the financial side of things and the side that identifies what will meet your family's needs, size of home, etc. All right, Craig, you ready? Good stuff. Good stuff.
Ready.
Okay, before we take the next break, we're going to try to squeeze in a little more information, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Squeeze it.
let's start. We've talked about the new car smell versus the new home smell. You told us your feeling on German-made cars. As far as
And some
the
Japanese
new
cars
home
smell better than others,
what
too.
new home smell do you like, Craig?
I like
Lavender and
no.
No.
I like the smell of wood.
I
Freshly
believe it.
milled wood.
All right, hey folks, when we come back from the break, we're going to tell you, we're going to give you the numbers. How many of you would rather have a new home smell versus that home smell with a little bit of character? Life as you own it.
All right, friends, we are back. Life as you own it. New car smell, new home smell, new clothes smell. New clothes smell is not usually very good. You have to wash them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you always wear yours right off the hanger, right out of the store.
I do, and but of course, if you like the smell of leather, then you like the smell of your new clothes, right? Which that's usually about all I see in leather.
Well, yeah. You know, I will say though, you picked up that moo for yourself from the store the other
I
day.
don't know exactly what a
And it
moo
smelled good. Well, it's Mother's Day weekend, so you know some of the mothers out there know what a moo is probably. But anyway,
I know.
Mark wears
Rose is not.
Mark-
Someone's gonna have to tell me during the
We'll tell
break.
you later. We'll tell you
Okay,
later.
you tell me later.
So what's the survey tell us about the new house versus characterized?
All right, so according to Trulia, American homebuyers prefer new homes nearly 2 to 1. But interestingly enough, only 46% are willing to pay a premium for that preference. So, you agree with that, Craig? You think that's?
I think
seems
that's
about right?
probably accurate.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I think most people, more than 2 to 1, really probably prefer the new home. It's just a matter of the financial expenditure piece of it and whether or not it makes some sense.
What do you think it is in cars? So Rose is showing me a picture.
That's a
that's a
moo-moo.
moo-moo? Is this basically
It's like
a maternity
big,
dress?
loose.
It's just a dress that
Dress.
I've seen wear
Maternity
many
dress,
times.
right.
Well,
Not
but
really. It's just
it's
a
not
comfortable
maternity.
one-piece dress thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
My grandma used to wear them. A lot of people used to wear those.
She used to dress you up in them. Okay, folks, so we've got, and Mrs. Roper in Three's Company, I think, used to wear those, right?
Yes.
Didn't she?
That's right. You were a
Yes.
big fan of her. I liked
She
the
was-
other
she was
ladies on
good.
Three's Company, but you were a big Mrs. Roper.
Yeah, I was.
And you liked Jack.
Yeah, I like Jack, and I like Jack Stack Barbecue. Little plug for Kansas City based barbecue. So,
All right.
yeah, we're just moving
Keep
on
on
down the
trucking,
road.
brother.
All right.
All right, what else
Okay,
we
so some of the amenities that they, the reason they preferred new homes were to have modern features, to be able to customize the home before construction is completed, to spend less on maintenance and repairs. I hear you there. To live in a home that meets modern construction standards, to be the first to live in the home, and to live in a newly developed neighborhood near other new homes.
What kind of premium, though, do people end up paying for that new home over the existing home in a similar neighborhood?
That's a good question, Craig. What do they pay?
It looks like about 20% on average. It says 20% more than
You got
existing
it.
homes with
20.
similar features.
And
in the same neighborhood.
among
So
people who say they strongly prefer a new home, though, only 46% would be willing to pay the 20%.
It's 20%. So
Yeah.
then if you take that divided by 2,
Yes, and
And
you
then
multiply
carry
that
it-
by a factor.
then you're
Of
going to end up with no
19.
one buys anything or they all buy something. I don't know.
Exactly.
Anyways, just
So,
go buy a house,
what
folks.
it comes back to
And
is
call us and tell us what you think about it.
you prefer them 2 to 1. So
That's
there
right.
you go. Folks, as we'll tell you, go through what fits into your budget. What are the most important features you're looking for a house? There are some really compelling reasons, especially as we trend to move towards more efficient building materials, to more sustainable products. And if those are important to you, rest assured, if you buy a 100-year-old house, there's a good chance there's some asbestos-wrapped pipes down there. There's also materials used that will continue to corrode. There's a lot of reasons to consider building new, and I think it's enhanced by the materials that we're using today.
And if you
So-
want to buy that established home in that nice, charming neighborhood with great big mature oak trees and all
Yeah,
that
love
stuff,
'em.
which is nice, get a really good inspector or someone who knows what they're talking about to go in there and really dig in and tell you, hey, this is the stuff you'll need to spend money on over the next 3 to 5 years or 10 years or whatever, and do the math, figure all that out, and add that to what price you'd have to pay to get that house and see how similar it is to buying that new home, because it does come out a little closer than you think. So.
And I'll tell you, and several of these markets are in our listening audience, and especially, actually, I'll say all of them are, because they're all checking us out on our podcast at iTunes, or they're going to iHeartRadio, or they are also going to, where else they going, Rosa?
TuneIn Radio.
TuneIn Radio. I gotta remember TuneIn Radio. They're gonna be mad at me if I keep forgetting that. TuneIn Radio. So they're checking us out there in pretty much all the markets, but here are some where in the U.S. metro where the most new home construction in 2013. Number one was Raleigh, North Carolina, followed by Houston, Charleston, South Carolina, Austin, Texas, and Charlotte, North Carolina. And those are the ones that are booming, and the ones that are dragging behind are New York, San Francisco, Detroit, Los Angeles, and New Haven, Connecticut. So of the 100 largest metro areas, that's where you've got the booming going on and where you've got a little bit of the lagging. But bottom line is there is a nice amount of growth in new home construction. That's good for the economy, and nationally we're seeing the trend of appreciation as the housing market is continuing to see nice, steady movement. So we don't see that changing anytime soon. All right, Craig, what else? What else you
Let's
got?
talk about why overpricing.
Yeah, have you ever overpriced a home?
I have, in fact.
Yeah?
Absolutely done it more than once.
Really? And did it work out well for you?
No, didn't
No?
work out well.
You
Didn't sell it. So
Didn't
there you
sell
go.
it.
You gotta,
No.
you just, things have to be priced right.
That's right. Okay, folks. Well, at the end of the day, as you know, the biggest words in real estate are location, location, location. But the reality is, it doesn't matter your location. If you don't have the right price, you're probably going to be hard-pressed to find a seller. It's going to take longer. And actually, sometimes there's a stigma associated with the longer it's on the market, even the negative impacts of that. All right, let's go through the list, Craig. Number one, attracting unscrupulous real estate agents. A good realtor is going to tell you what about your house,
You're
Craig?
going to tell the honest value that you should be able to sell it for within that ideal initial listing time frame. If you go with a scrupulous agent who says, "Oh yeah, sure, we can get that," you're going to miss
Well,
your best window.
What's the benefit to them, though, when they do it?
You're telling you what you want to hear so they can get the listing.
Right, they're going to get the listing, which in turn means they're going to get potential buyers that come through the house, and they're also going to get you pinned down on a contract because they're telling you which one you're sure. I can sell your $200,000 house for $250,000. You got a 6-month listing agreement, and ultimately they end up selling it for $175,000, and you can't get out of the listing agreement. So that's one of the pitfalls. What else, Craig?
It's a tactic. You'll scare off buyers, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, if people are looking in your area, they know the market fairly well, you get your price a little too high, they may not even bother to look, thinking that you may be unrealistic. They don't want to come in there and try to offer much less, so they'll just move on to something else.
All right, also, if it takes too much time to sell, what's going to happen? Well, probably other than your house sitting on the market for a long time, people are going to think something is wrong with that house, and you're ultimately going to get even less of an offer or less price for your house when you ultimately sell it. And when we come back, we're going to share the rest of them with you. Life as you own it. Stay tuned.
All right, folks, we are back. Life as you own it. So, as we were discussing before the break, having your home overpriced can have some damaging effects. We've covered a few of them. How much time your home sits on the market, I think, is where we left things, Mark. You're talking about taking too much time to sell. A few issues with taking too much time to sell, but primarily if you have to keep dropping your price, that makes your home look like there's something wrong. People are looking at it and they're not liking it, so you have to keep dropping your price. You're also, the market shifts. It cools off, it picks up. The longer it's on the market, you're missing potential waves. Usually when a listing is fresh and new is when it gets the most activity for showings, so that's an issue. What's another one, Mark?
Another one is ultimately, if it's overpriced and someone agrees to purchase the home and writes a contract on it, well, if they're going to finance it, they're going to have to get an appraisal. And there's a good chance that appraisal is going to represent the accurate market value of the home. So the gig will be up then anyway. Because if the house, there's not comps that support a $400,000 sales price, and it says it's a $350,000 house, you better have a buyer with a lot of cash and that's in love with the home that's willing to pay $50,000 more than what the supported value is. And finally is the potential that you would.
Well, if you have it overpriced, another issue is not showing up at all for people who might be looking in your price range. If your neighborhood is selling in the 380 to 390s or somewhere around there, you think you're being overly optimistic. You've got your price at $425 or something.
Yep.
They're not even looking probably at your house at all. They're saying, well, I guess looks like about 400 is the top of the food chain around here.
Right.
Just show us homes at 400 and under.
They want a four. They're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath at 400 and under. Yours is at 405.
Yep.
Not even showing up. All right, you know the drill, folks. Should you stay or should you go? Enrique in Scottsdale, Arizona, emailed Mark and Craig. You guys do a great job on your show. Enrique, you are a gentleman and a scholar. I feel like I've been to real estate finance school, and after listening to your show over the last 5 months, keep going, buddy. Here's my question. I am moving overseas for my job for the next 1.5 to 2 years, depending on how long it takes to get the project complete. With this in mind, should I sell my home?
Or hell it.
Homes are selling very fast right now in my area. And pocket or invest the money I have in home equity and just buy another home when I return, or would it make more financial sense to rent it out while I'm gone? I know you can't predict the market perfectly, but what do you think? I love the home I own, so I may not find something I like as much, and I have to purchase again in a couple years. Thanks for your advice.
Okay, if stay is renting it and go is selling it, I'm go. I'm saying sell it. Here,
Stay is renting and
I'll
go is
qualify
selling,
that
right.
whenever I get a chance to do my typical
Do it.
bloviation.
Do your bloviation.
So here's the deal. You could rent the house. Yes, you could. You're going to be overseas. Now, if we don't have enough detail here. I'd have to consult with Enrique. But if he says, you know what, I have close family members that live in this same town that could check on the house, that could handle renter issues, whatever, maybe renting it might work out. You don't know what the market's going to do necessarily, while you're overseas. But if you're overseas, you can't handle any major thing that comes up. You could have an insurance claim. You could have something go wrong. My suggestion is liquidate it, invest the money, do something like that. And when you come back, because a lot of things change in life, buy another home.
I agree. The reality is, Enrique, if you get, let's say it's $100,000 or $200,000, you said it's a fairly sizable amount of cash, correct? Is that
I
what
think,
correct?
well, it sounded like yes,
Yeah.
a decent amount of money.
So the opportunity for you to put that in the market and invest it while you're overseas, not the overhead and maintenance associated, including when you rent a house, they do not take care of it like you do.
Right.
So you're going to have some maintenance on that house and also some cleanup, etc., for when you go to put it on the market to get top dollar. So even if the market continues to appreciate at 10% per year, back off the expense associated with the maintenance and those kind of things you're going to have, and you look at your ability to put it in the market, not the real estate market, but in the market and get 7.5 to possibly 10%. Bird in hand, baby.
There you go.
I would sell it, take your cash, get it investified.
Investify. New word. New word on Life As You Own. We're going to use that from here on out.
Investified, which would be invest diversified.
You
That's
got
what I was
it.
going
I
with.
like it, Mark.
All
I
right, folks.
coined it.
You're coining it. Let's do it, brother.
You coined it. I'm copying it. Let's go
All right,
with it.
you're a coin copier.
No whammies. Peter's marking. Okay,
All
what's
right,
up?
so you live in one of these states and you're thinking that, gosh, I really don't like where I live. And so we got some data we're going to share with you about a lot of different markets, and we even focused in on some of our listening audiences. So there was those with a desire to move to a different state. We go, and the categories are whether there's a high desire to move to a different state, an average amount of desire, or a low desire. We say highest desire to move, above average desire to move, an average amount, below average, and the lowest desire to move. So that's kind of the categories. Well, Kansas, Missouri, Ohio, Nebraska, all of you, Alabama, all of you fell in the range where people said, you know what, an equal number said, I'd like to move, as a number that would say, I'd like to stay. Some of the other states in our listening audience, we need to work on you. Arizona, we're working with you guys. We're educating the audience that there is opportunity in real estate, and the fact that you've lost money over the last couple of years is usually one of the foremost reasons people are wanting to get out of their state, because it's kind of a bummer when your big investment has lost money. But if you stay there as a long-term investment in the home and you've got a good job, then we think that in coming years you're going to be back right where you were 5, 6, 7 years. But it's a long-term play, real estate. So we're working on Arizona because there's an above-average number of people that want to move out of Arizona. Also Pennsylvania, that's in our listening audience, above average. And go Oklahoma. You're doing something right there. It's a below average number of people that want to leave Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Go Oklahoma.
We
I
need
wouldn't
some
necessarily
stations in
suspected that.
Texas.
That's right, and we soon will have them. When we come back, we're going to share some of those states where people were ready to get the heck out. And maybe Craig will opine why. It's not just the food, it's the water.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Life as you own it when we come back. So much more to share. All right, we're back. Life as you own it. This is the final segment. Thanks for hanging out with us. And you know what, Craig, it felt like we're a little rusty. Maybe we've got
I don't know what's
we're
going
focused on giving the love and attention to the deserving mothers out there, and
Teachers and
the teachers. So much going on.
We believe the children of the future.
Right. Yeah. They are.
Teach them well.
And we are the
Love them
world.
boys.
We are the children. So, folks, remember, you can check out the show. You can get it a podcast. You can go to lifeasyouownit.com, and you can listen to any of the archive shows. You can also follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube's a great place because you actually get to see some video, and I'm looking at you right now. I'm looking at the camera. I will do a better job of looking you in the eye when I'm speaking, listeners, okay? I just did it right there.
Camera's on.
All right, that's right.
Yeah.
So please join us. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you need us to cover for you on a show that is soon coming in. We've got some new markets that I'm sure we're going to be announcing very quickly, right, Craig?
That's right.
Like
Excited
your
about
backyard, going to blast the radio.
Oh yeah. People
High
will.
hopes everyone can hear it.
Heard
Okay,
it.
so some of the states, it's kind of sad. Some of the states, there's a lot of people wanting to move, and let's talk about that list where the people were kind of ready to get the heck out of Dodge. Number one on the list, 50% of the people in Illinois
Wow.
wanted to leave Illinois. 49% in Connecticut, 47% in Maryland, Nevada, Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Those were the 10 that from the low of 39% up to 50% in Illinois wanted to get out of their state, and that's too bad. Candidly, I went to school in Illinois, and I've spent a lot of time in Chicago, and I can't speak to exactly what the economic factors that are driving people to want to move, but that is usually it. If you look on this list, many of these areas were hard hit in real estate, and also a component of them being hard hit in real estate was also that economically they were having struggles that compounded that pain that people are feeling. So people need to have jobs. They need to be able to have enough money to be able to feed their families and to make their mortgage payments. And so, folks, we're optimistic. We think the tide has turned consistently. On employment is continuing to compress down lower, and we think real estate, as long as it's considered a long-term investment, will continue to be a good long-term investment when you compare it to the other option, which is renting. All right, Craig. What else is next, my friend? You got that?
Little funky stuff going on here with this foreclosure. Hard to believe, folks, but we wanted to just report to you a little tidbit here that's kind of interesting. I don't know if it breaks any records for the least amount of money delinquent, which led to a foreclosure, but we have a report here of a foreclosure for $6.30 worth of past due taxes. So apparently, a person didn't fully pay her property taxes, and the city that the person lives in was foreclosed, or they foreclosed on her. So she must have not obviously rounded up, or she rounded her check down, or did something where she didn't cover the whole amount of her property taxes due. Real estate taxes, how in the world $6.30 was left over, which led to foreclosure, I do not know. I have a hard time with this one because guess what? You get some notices. They'd have to notify you by mail, put a little sign on the front door or something saying, hey, you're about to get foreclosed on. But anyway, $6.30, folks. Could be a new record for losing.
It should be a new record. That's crazy.
It is insane.
All right,
I'm
Craig,
sure there's some legal action
what's in the agenda for this week? What's the last bit of advice you'd like to give our listeners that are potentially out looking for a new home? Maybe they're thinking of selling their home. Anything that you'd give them that's be some savvy advice for them to heed for this coming week?
The advice that I would give, I'll tell you right now, I'm seeing it all the time, is that people are rushing out when they get pre-approved on their home to purchase a home, or maybe they're checking into refinancing. They're not being asked a lot of questions. And I don't mean even financial questions. I'm talking about just for qualification's sake. What we're learning more and more is that a lot of people get partially into the process and they get the heartbreaking news that their loan's getting turned down, all based on information that should have been uncovered in the first place. Folks, I'm going to plant the seed deep into your brain. Let it live there.
Go deep, brother.
I always do, you're going to want them to ask you questions. You want to know all. If it's a 5-minute pre-approval process, something is wrong. You don't always want it easy, folks. Have them dig in deep and figure out all the facts about your particular case, before they tell you whether you qualify to do something or not. If you think it's as easy as going into a car dealership, looking at a car, buying it, leaving in the car, it's not like this. It's a big deal, guys. Think about it.
All right, folks, another installment of Life as You Own It. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Check us out next week. Stay classy.